الله وبركاته إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار أما بعد. Then today inshallah we'll continue, my sisters, barakallahu feekum, regarding the chapters in Bulugh al-Maram, Kitab al-Nikah, or the chapter on marriage. And we move on to the chapter that is Bab Ishrat Nisa, or the chapter on relations and relationships with women. Then with regard to the chapter heading, Sheikh Salih bin Abdullah or Salih bin Fawzan, Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, he mentions from this chapter heading in Bulugh al-Maram, the chapter on relationships with women, he mentions that which takes place, or that which is intended by the term ishra, meaning by the term of this interaction or living with one's wife or one's womenfolk, he mentions that is related to that which occurs between the husband and the wife by way of their affinity for each other, their agreement with each other, their good relationship and good dealings between each other. Because having these good relations and affinity and affection towards each other leads to the continuation of the life of marriage. And it is a cause of the establishment of Islamic households, as opposed to living with one's wife in a wicked manner or an evil manner, because that is the cause of tafarruq, of separation and division between the husband and his wife. And it is the cause of loss in one's household, followed by the cause of loss in one's children and the tarbiyah and the cultivation of those children. So if there is separation and there is differing between the spouses, the husband and the wife, then the children, the result of that is that there is loss with regard to one's children. And having a good life, meaning living in a good manner with one's wife, then in that there is much good. And that is because the fulfillment of the rights, wherein the husband fulfills the rights of his wife, and that is something that is obligated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon him, then those obligations have to be fulfilled. And likewise, the wife, she must fulfill the rights of her husband, those rights that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has obligated upon her, alongside the fact that she must, or each of the two parties, that they must surrender the soul with ease and being happy and comfortable and having a good state of mind whilst fulfilling the rights, whilst fulfilling the rights of each other. And in this affair, one is not to be weak or feeble or unwilling to fulfill those rights. And one should likewise not be haughty and proud with regard to fulfilling those rights, one upon the other. For indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, وَعَاشِرُوهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, and live with your wives in a good manner, in a goodly manner. Surah An-Nisa, ayah number 19. And likewise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, وَلَهُنَّ مِثْلُ الَّذِي عَلَيْهِنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَلِلرِّجَالِ عَلَيْهِنَّ دَرَجَةٌ. And their wives have similar rights over them, similar to those of their husbands, to what is reasonable. But men have a degree of responsibility over them, that the men have a degree or a level over them. Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 228. So this is what we intend by living and having good relations between each other. وَعَاشِرُوهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, and live with them in a goodly manner. Then he mentions the first two hadith. And the first hadith, عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ملعون من أتى امرأة في دبرها. رواه أبو داود والنسائي واللفظ له ورجاله ثقات لكن أعل بالإرسال. That he mentions the hadith of Abu Huraira, wherein Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, cursed is the one who approaches a woman by way of her anus. Reported by Abu Dawood and Nasa'i, and the wording is his, meaning of Imam al-Nasa'i, and all of the narrators in this hadith are trustworthy, except for the fact that there is a defect in the fact that it is mursal, meaning the tabi'i is narrating straight off the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the hadith, he mentions in the footnote, Shaykh al-Fawzan, the hadith is Hasan, and it is reported by Abu Dawud and Nasa'i, Ahmad in his Musnad. Then he mentions the next hadith, وَعَنْ ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, from a narration reported by Abdullah ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him and his father, that Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, لا ينظر الله إلى رجل أتى رجلا أو امرأة في دبرها. Where the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that indeed Allah does not look at a man who approaches another man, or a man who approaches another woman by way of her anus. Reported by Imam al-Nasa'i, Imam al-Tirmidhi, Ibn Hibban, and it has a defect in the fact that it is, that Ibn Hajar said that it is, that he mentions وَأَعَلَّ بِالْوَقْفِ. So it is mawquf, meaning that it is considered as a statement of a companion. Shaykh al-Fawzan mentions in the footnote that the hadith is Hasan, and that is reported by Imam al-Nasa'i in Al-Kubra, and also Imam al-Tirmidhi, and also Ibn Hibban. Then he mentions a page or 2 pages in explanation of these two narrations, and the crux of that is, and I won't go through the whole discussion, but the crux of it is that it is something for many reasons that is forbidden, due to the fact that it is not the area or the arena that is entered into if one wishes to produce children. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likewise, that He has commanded that when one approaches his wife, that he refers to it as a tilth. So it is a field that is sown. So a man who sows a field then he expects a crop. And if one expects a crop, then that is not done except by way of the area that a man should enter, rather entering the area that is forbidden for him. Nisa'ukum harthun lakum fa'atu harthakum anna shi'tum. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 223, your women are a tilth for you. So approach your tilth however you wish, showing that it is a tilth, comparing it to a field, and therefore one expects a crop to grow from that. So therefore, the relationship or the sexual relations that take place through other than the woman's private part that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has permitted, then other than that, meaning through the other area which is filthy, then that is something that is forbidden. And then he mentions likewise, of course, that the people of Lut, he mentions, meaning the people of Lut alayhi salam, that they used to, of course, they were homosexuals, and they engaged with each other in sodomy. So therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed them for that. So no doubt that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he mentions that indeed Allah will not look at a man who approaches another man, meaning by way of sodomy. And this is something that Shaykh al-Fawzan mentions, that this is from the behavior of the homosexuals whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed. So therefore it is forbidden. And this affair of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioning that a man does not approach another man, nor does a man approach his wife by way of this region, then this is a wa'idun shadidun, that this is a severe threat from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of punishment, because Allah said that Allah will not look at them, meaning that Allah is angry with them, with such people, and Allah's anger is upon them, and Allah will not look at them, meaning that they are far away from the mercy of Allah, and they have engaged themselves with regard to the anger of Allah. So the anger of Allah is upon them, and He is not pleased with them. So all of that type of behavior, sodomy and homosexuality, then all of that is forbidden. The next hadith that he mentions is وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فلا يؤذي جاره واستوصوا بالنساء خيرا فإنهن خلقن من دلع وإن أعوج شيء في الدلع أعلاه فإن ذهبت تقيمه كسرته وإن تركته لم يزل أعوجا فاستوصوا بالنساء خيرا. That the Prophet ﷺ said that whomsoever believes in Allah and the last day, then let him not harm his neighbor. And you must, he mentions, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and I commend you to treat the women well, for indeed they were created from a rib, and the most crooked of the ribs are those that are the higher in the upper ribs. They are the most crooked. So she was created from the ribs, and she was created from the ribs that are the high up in the chest, meaning that they are the most crooked. And if you try to straighten that rib, you will break it. And if you do not try to straighten it, it will remain crooked. So I commend you, or that I command you with the advice that you must treat your women well. Muttafaqun alayh. The hadith is agreed upon, and the wording is that of Imam al-Bukhari. And there is another narration in Sahih Muslim